Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a weekly message from Jesus. As you probably know by now, each week we try to bring you his words, and he brings amazing messages. As you look back at them, and they're all available on the YouTube channel, so you can go back and review them. But tell your friends about them, they'll change your lives. So, our Father's here, and let's see what he would like to speak to us about today. Good morning, everyone. Yes, as Barry said, each week I do try to come to you and bring you a different message. It's not easy. My message is very simple, as I tell you every week. I simply speak of love. I speak of getting along with one another. And I speak of how you should act. Today, I'm going to speak to you about a subject that I think you're going to find very controversial. I'm going to speak to you about the various books of devotion that are available. You see, each religion has a different book of my words, or of the words of those who led that religion. For instance, the Bible brings you what they refer to as the Old Testament and the New Testament. The New Testament is supposed to refer to my teachings and to other things as well, and to things that were added. The Holy Quran brings the words of the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet, I sent him back because people of the Middle East needed a different type of religion than what I was going to work upon in the area where I came back and talked and walked the earth. The Hindus have multiple messages and writings, ancient writings that they refer to. So you see, each religion is different. That was the way I wanted it. I wanted each religion to reflect the area of the world known at that time to that religion. Buddha, he doesn't even refer to me. He speaks of a good way of life. He speaks exactly of how I would like you to live your life. But you see, Buddha proves that he doesn't even have to speak of a God. So there are so many infinite ways to understand my holy energies. Now, why are these books different? Well, in some instances, they're different because humans want them to be different. Allow me to speak about the Bible for a moment. Now, I want you to understand this. The Gospels in the Bible present the best foundation that's available to many people. The earliest writings of the Old Testament are very difficult. There are many things in there that the ancients did not get correct. But you see, the Old Testament lays the foundation for me to come forth when I live my life. And then my words were to become the personification upon that foundation. I only walked the earth for 3 years. Of all the millions of years that this planet has been around, I only was here for 3 of them. But I made sure that I sent back many of my assistants, my souls that had served me on other planets. I knew that I would be assisted by the best. I knew that each soul that I requested to return with me would do their best because they had served me in the past. Now, when I walked the earth, no one wrote down my words. People listened. Most of my disciples couldn't even read or write, but they were devoted. You see, they could overcome that. They knew by being with me what I wanted of them and what I wanted of the people. The people to whom I spoke were mostly uneducated, they were poor. I was pretty much rejected by the rich unless I performed a miracle for them. Mostly those that had great wealth at the time looked down upon me. You see, I was a simple carpenter. I was the same as the people I talked to. I didn't go to a fancy university or be educated, but I knew what I needed to do. I had to be one of the people because it was the people that were going to do amazing things in the future for me. In certain instances, I would perform miracles for the wealthy. It was a difficult time. I had all my disciples and they had their families with them, and we would travel and we would speak to the people. We needed a foundation of funding as well. You see, we lived normal lives. We had to pay for what we did, just the same as you pay for what you do. That doesn't change. So I want you to visualize me traveling around the country, speaking to all these wonderful, wonderful people. Not necessarily those adorned in great clothes or having great wealth, but simply people. Today, there are many people that don't have great wealth. You can find solace in my words just the same as those people did. But I'm digressing here. The words that I spoke were incredibly simple. Throughout the years, many individuals felt that I couldn't speak those simple words. Now, they thought they were doing a great service. So, in many instances, they would change my words, change the intent. In most instances, they would complicate my teachings. You see, when I come to you every week, I speak very simply. I tell you of what's become known as the golden rule. Don't do anything that you don't want to have done unto you. I tell you to love. I tell you to coexist. It was very difficult for the ancients to have great writings upon my words because they were so simple. Many people tried to change my words in the church for power. You see, sadly, many of the individuals that ran the church following my death were individuals that were greedy. They wanted power, they wanted wealth. So they wanted to introduce fear. I spoke of love, but the church members decided that you should fear me. You should fear me because if you don't do exactly what the church says, then you will be sent to a burning place of hell. Except for one little thing. I never spoke of hell. Hell was a concept made up by the church so that people would respond to their sacraments. That's very sad. Because now you see you have the concept of hate introduced into a world of where I introduce love. It gets a little worse. Let's talk about Revelations for a second. You see, I will never, ever wipe humans from the face of this earth. I've worked too hard. I'm trying to get humans to understand my teachings. Why would I step in and interrupt that education? Why would I leave your beautiful planet with nobody to live on it and take everyone to my heaven? You see, that is so counter, it doesn't even make any sense whatsoever. There are other books that have been, shall we say, having the wording rearranged. But what I want you to understand is it was a time that nobody wrote down the words of the religious leaders. They may have taken notes from Muhammad, but they never specifically wrote his words down. Muhammad spoke very simply as well, because he had many of the same problems I did with the individuals to whom I was speaking. He spoke simply as well. And if you take time to read the words that Barry has put into Muhammad's book, you will see that his teachings are very similar to mine. Do not think that's a coincidence, because it's not. Other religions through the years have manipulated my words as well. Many times, those manipulated words are meant to build power and wealth in a religious institution. Institutions want you to believe that it is only through them that you will reach this salvation. I'm not even sure what salvation is, and I'm God. You see, you're all coming to heaven. You'll be judged when you arrive here, and you'll be placed in a realm appropriate to how you lived your life. What salvation got to do with it? I'm not sure. Nothing. It is inevitable that you will enter my heaven. How you live your life is your problem. You see, I gave you free will, and I created evil. Those two challenges for many create impossible hurdles. Humans need to live a more simple life. There are times that it's going to be very complicated. I'm trying to let you have new technologies that will lead you forward. But your faith in me should be incredibly simple. It should be, yes, God exists. If anyone tells you I don't exist, tell them to open their eyes, look around, explain the world, look at a baby and explain how that came into being, and then tell me I don't exist. The existence of God is the most basic thing. All of the books of devotion should be devoted to my teachings, my simple teachings, the fact that I truly am here, and the fact that I have many, many angels, many, many Holy Spirits, that I have got all that I need to assure you the guidance that would lead you to a good life. It is only through your free will where you decide not to live that good life. What I want you to understand today is that all of the books of devotion that are derived from ancient texts lay a foundation. That foundation was laid by the ancients, and they had limited knowledge. You see, it was generations after my death until people started writing about me. Memories over 2 generations vary. That's why you see all of these gospels. Did you know that there's hundreds of gospels out there that speak of my life? You only see around 27 of them in the Bible. So there are many different opinions. Keep in mind that when Constantine decided to get involved, there were actually riots between Christians because they didn't know whether I was a prophet or a god. I'm a god, by the way, in case you're wondering. So you see, Those of you that believe every word of my gospel is correct, in your minds, that can be the most perfect thing as long as you follow the commands. If you argue that every word of the Bible is correct and then go out and do what you want to do and do not follow my directions, not only are you deluding yourself, you're deluding your soul, and you're coming down a nasty path. Believe in simplicity. Believe in me. Believe in my simple words. That's all it's required. So I thank you for listening to me again this week. I try to bring you the truth. You see, I'm the only one that really knows the truth. The truth has been distorted by so many through the years that it's difficult to understand. I come forward each week to try to help you understand the truth. So I bless all of you that are listening once again. I do it every week. Please tell your friends. We don't get that many people listening to the truth. Most of them just simply listen to the lies that are told them. So thank you. We'll be back again next week. Father, thank you so much. Another very interesting message. We'll be back again next week with another message. Please tell your friends. I wish that we could reach so many more people. It doesn't cost you anything to tell your friends and to listen, but it can serve great benefit when your time comes of passing. So goodbye. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.